the only place where we find nickel without iron is in industrially produced alloys that we technologically produce.
It is already happening. Right now, Earth is slamming into a dense river of debris with no warning and no pause. Above the planet, the atmosphere is being pierced again and again as Geminid meteors strike at blistering speed, instantly turning motion into fire. Each impact tears a glowing wound across the sky, bright, violent, and gone in seconds. There is no countdown. There is no build-up. The event is live, unfolding over sleeping cities and darkened fields at this very moment. Astronomers confirm the peak has already begun, and the clock is quietly working against everyone on the ground. Every hour that passes changes the geometry, thins the visible rate, and closes the window just a little more. This is not a forecast or a future highlight on a calendar. It is a moving target, happening overhead tonight, whether anyone is watching or not. Telescopes and all-sky cameras are already recording intense activity, while human eyes only catch what they are present for. A rare and fragile alignment has stripped away the moon's interference almost completely. The sky is darker than it has any right to be during a major meteor peak. Without lunar glare, even weak meteors, normally erased by light pollution, are now burning visibly across the atmosphere. Scientists describe conditions like this as unforgivingly brief. Miss one clear night and the balance shifts. The moon returns. The contrast collapses. What was once obvious becomes invisible again. The darkness itself feels deeper, heavier, as if the sky has been hollowed out to reveal what is normally hidden. Faint streaks suddenly register. Short flashes become undeniable. The storm looks stronger not because it changed, but because nothing is masking it anymore. Researchers warn that this level of clarity does not repeat on demand, not even from one year to the next. Weather, timing, and orbital luck rarely line up this cleanly. There is no signal when the moment ends. No final burst. No warning shot. The sky does not wait for attention, and it does not announce closure. Something rare is unfolding right now, and the longer the delay, the less there is to see. And as Earth continues forward into this debris river, scientists are watching closely, because the most intense region may still be ahead. And what happens when the planet reaches its core could change everything next. It begins without ceremony. Earth plunges straight into the densest core of the Geminid debris stream, a region astronomers describe as the most dangerous and productive zone of the entire event. This is not the outer mist of scattered particles. This is the compact filament, packed with ancient fragments left behind by a shattered object older than human history. Each grain is moving at tens of thousands of miles per hour, and the moment it touches Earth's atmosphere, raw speed is transformed into instant fire. There is no warning phase. The sky ignites. In this core, theoretical activity rates surge toward 140 to 150 meteors per hour under ideal conditions, but scientists stress that numbers alone are misleading. Observers are not seeing steady, predictable intervals. Instead, reports describe violent clusters, sudden barrages where the sky stays quiet, then erupts without mercy. Streak after streak tears through the darkness in seconds. Cameras struggle to keep up. Human eyes miss half of what unfolds. This behavior unnerves researchers because it defies clean models. The stream behaves less like debris and more like a living system, reacting, pulsing, releasing energy in waves that cannot be forecast minute to minute. This is what makes the core crossing dangerous to ignore. Calm means nothing here. A silent sky can flip into chaos instantly. Scientists know that once Earth passes beyond this dense filament, the storm collapses just as fast as it rose. Rates fall, bursts disappear. The moment is unrepeatable. And as Earth races deeper into the stream, one unsettling question hangs unanswered. If this is only the core, what happens when another hidden layer ignites next? The darkness arrives like a switch being thrown, sudden, total, unforgiving. Above Earth, the moon slips away, shrinking to a thin crescent before sinking below the horizon, and with it goes the last source of natural interference. What remains is a sky stripped bare, no glow, no haze, no forgiveness. Astronomers immediately recognize the danger of this moment and the opportunity. This level of lunar absence during a Geminid peak is rare. The night sky becomes a silent detector, exposing everything moving through it. Meteors that would normally vanish unnoticed now ignite clearly, burning faint but undeniable trails across the atmosphere. Sensors confirm the shift almost instantly. Detection rates jump, not because more debris suddenly appears, but because nothing is hiding anymore. Low-brightness meteors, once drowned by moonlight, now cut through the dark like thin blades of fire. Scientists call it a clean sky condition, but the phrase barely captures the intensity of what unfolds. Each streak appears sharper than expected, longer, more defined. The sky behaves less like empty space and more like a charged surface reacting to impact. Observers report an unsettling clarity, meteors arriving in silence, one after another, without warning, as if the atmosphere itself is under quiet assault. This darkness changes perception. The human eye adapts, pulling depth from the void. The shower feels stronger, heavier, closer. Even modest meteors seem dramatic, exaggerated by contrast. The sky turns into a high-definition canvas where every movement matters. But scientists warn this clarity is fragile. The silence is temporary. The moon is already on its return path. Within nights, its growing brightness will begin washing the sky clean again, erasing the faintest signals first. What looks overwhelming now will soon feel muted, incomplete, diminished. Right now, the absence of light is the amplifier. And as the moon stays away, something else begins to shift, not in brightness, but in direction. High above, the source point of the storm is rising, repositioning itself in the sky, changing how the next phase will strike. Something sharp is happening in the sky right now, and it has a name: Gemini. Astronomers are watching every Geminid meteor trace backward to a single invisible ignition point near the twin stars Castor and Pollux. This is the radiant, the trigger zone, and it has climbed higher into the night sky than earlier in the week. That rise is not cosmetic, it is mechanical. With the radiant elevated, meteors slam into Earth's atmosphere at angles that maximize brightness, speed, and length. The sky is no longer passive, it is primed. Near the radiant, meteors snap into existence like electrical sparks, short, violent flashes that appear and vanish in less than a second. But farther away, the same debris stretches into long, blade-like arcs that carve across the darkness, leaving the impression that the sky itself is being cut open. Scientists say this geometry is the reason the current window feels overwhelming. The radiant's position removes the usual viewing limits that sabotage meteor events. Observers no longer need to face one precise direction: north, south, east, west. It no longer matters. The sky feels active everywhere at once, creating the unsettling sense that motion is coming from all directions. Instruments confirm what eyes already feel. Activity is not evenly distributed. It surges. It clusters. Calm minutes collapse into sudden flurries without warning. As Earth continues to rotate, the radiance shifts again, subtly altering meteor angles, brightness, and frequency hour by hour. What looks predictable suddenly isn't. The same sky does not repeat itself twice in one night. And that is where the unease deepens. Astronomers are now warning that this constant shift means the most intense activity may not arrive when expected. The radiant is still climbing. Earth is still rotating. The geometry is still changing. What observers are seeing now may not be the peak, but a buildup, a prelude. With every passing hour, the trigger point realigns and the rules rewrite themselves. The sky is adjusting in real time, and as Gemini continues to rise, scientists are asking the same quiet question. If this is only the configuration phase, what happens when everything finally locks into place next? The danger is not that the sky will go quiet, it is that the human body will give up first. As darkness stretches across December nights, the Geminid storm refuses to compress itself into a single, predictable peak. Instead, it spreads like a living system, breathing in waves across it as much as 12 continuous hours. Scientists warn that this is where most people fail. They assume the show has already happened. They leave, and minutes later the sky detonates. Data from real-time monitoring shows Geminid activity does not rise smoothly. It spikes, it collapses, then it surges again without warning. Long periods of calm can suddenly fracture into rapid-fire streaks, 5, 10, even 15 meteors tearing through the atmosphere in under a minute. Those moments are rare, and they do not announce themselves. They punish impatience. Cold air sharpens everything. Lower temperatures stabilize the atmosphere, reducing distortion and making faint meteors burn cleaner and longer. But that same cold drains the body. Muscles stiffen, focus blurs, reaction time slows, fatigue creeps in silently, convincing observers that nothing more is coming. Astronomers know this deception well. The sky often waits until exhaustion sets in. Statistical models show a brutal truth. Every additional hour spent watching meaningfully increases the odds of witnessing a major fireball, a long-burning fragment that flares brighter than Venus and leaves a glowing smoke trail that twists for minutes. These are not evenly distributed events. They cluster late. They favor endurance. They reward those who stay when others quit. Fatigue becomes the true limiting factor, not clouds, not light pollution, not equipment. A single warm break indoors can be enough to miss the ignition moment, the sudden cascade when the stream tightens and the atmosphere lights up all at once. The Geminids do not perform on human schedules. They exploit weakness. Scientists monitoring live feeds warn that the most intense bursts often occur during psychological drop-off, the hours when observers assume the night is over. That is when the sky strikes hardest, and as bodies fail and eyes close, the storm does not slow down. It accelerates. Because just ahead lies the final threshold, the moment when Earth begins to slip past the densest debris, and what happens next decides whether this night ends in silence or in one last, overwhelming surge. It does not fade gently, it collapses. As Earth pushes beyond the densest core of the Geminid debris stream, the sky begins to shut down almost immediately. Astronomers watching real-time counts see the numbers fall hour by hour. What was once a constant assault of fire becomes isolated streaks separated by long stretches of nothing. The storm does not say goodbye, it simply thins, then retreats. The physics are unforgiving. Earth has momentum, and once it exits the thickest filament, there is no way back. The remaining debris is scattered, older, and far less active. Trails that once carved long scars across the atmosphere now burn out faster, shorter, weaker. Cameras that were lighting up non-stop begin recording darkness instead. At the same time, another enemy rises. The moon grows brighter each night, spilling glare back into the sky. Faint meteors, the ones that made this storm feel endless, vanish first. Scientists confirm that nothing is wrong with the shower. The human eye is simply being shut out. The universe keeps moving, but the window closes. Researchers are clear and blunt in their assessments. There is no secondary surge coming, no hidden spike, no late arriving miracle. The models agree, the data agrees, and the sky confirms it. This weekend is not one chapter of the 2025 Geminids, it is the entire story. Miss it. And what remains is charts, simulations, and other people's footage. The experience becomes theoretical instead of personal. No archive can replace standing under a sky that is actively breaking apart in light. No replay can restore what passed overhead unseen. The universe does not save what you ignored. It does not rewind for hesitation. Right now is the climax, the last full breath of the storm before silence takes over. When it ends, the sky does not replace it with anything new. There is only darkness, memory, and the slow wait for another year. And as the final streaks fade and the counts drop toward zero, scientists are already watching something else, because while one cosmic window closes, another may be forming just beyond the edge of detection.